This is from Biafra's Got Talent. We are letting Biafrans know the reason why we should remember those who gave their lives for us, those who died that we may live.
You died to end my suffering. You died fighting for my freedom. Your blood is the seed of redemption. You are my inspiration.
The deed no wrong with them, military shots at them. 67 to 70, we remember them. 2016, 38 May, memory still lives in our mind till today. Wonder why they refuse to publicize the genocide. The world media turn blind eyes to our plight. It's time to arise, land of the rising sun. Let's rise one more time, let's rise.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes, those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Ipocha massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Tell them I got that day. Remember when me tell you say I got that day. Yeah, I remember that one that called us a Bruce Mero. But the way you put like a Papa Nuku. But then when we go, me tell you what I look and the what on this Amiro. Me tell you what I day. For we the front and the rest of man, I tell you what I do. Me know that you come to tell them.
I want to promise you something today. We must fight together, no retreat and no surrender. We must hold them down till the end of time. The most important thing is that we will restore Biafra. May your soul rest in peace.
I look up to the sky with tears in my eye. For other Biafrans and for freedom and to die. We will never forget you as the days go by. You are always in my heart, you'll never be apart. They fought for our freedom, they died for our freedom. They fought the Nigerian soldiers in the war front, without food, without guns, for our freedom, for our life, for our own good, for our children. We love them, our heroes, we want them.
My heart bleeds when I saw them slain. Where will I be now if not then? They will remain indelible in my heart forever, 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 and never, and never, and never.
We serve in your plantation, and the way you paid us back with your bloody starvation. We play in our history that the death of my people is a mystery. No going back to get to a victory. I had a verse now call for vengeance. I never get bombed, I'ma blow like a vengeance.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes, those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Ipocha massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Where will I be now? If not you, you died at Mali.
Then we are starved to death because of our freedom, and they paid the debt for our freedom. Flag high for those that died in the genocide, fighting for you and I. There is pain in our heart, we bleeding inside, tears in the eyes, so I'm falling here.
This is for my fallen heroes. Give them motivation, people. It's like I'm looking at myself in the mirror. Cause we to be a cast, I need to be a nurse. If we did not retire,
They paid the ultimate price. They died for me, for the freedom of my unborn child. We live for the legacy.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes.
free. March on, cause we are more than conquerors. Yeah, you know what it is. We must revenge, and we must stand to represent who we are.
Fight on, brave boys, fight on, heroes of our fatherland. Pursue the enemy, harass him, destroy the invader. March on, brave boys, now that victory is in sight. March on and hasten the disintegration of the enemy already set in motion.
Fighting a war, knowing the difficulties, the odds against us, there is an element of fatalism, people feeling, well, if the world chooses to abandon us, then perhaps it is better we all perish. They don't ever consider a Biafra not free. They believe in either Biafra free or no Biafra at all. That means none of us living to see it.
I need Biafra freedom. We Biafrans, we need Biafra freedom. For this, I decided, even to die, that Biafra must have its own freedom.
I want us to work systematically towards the establishment of a good, progressive, and democratic society where all vestiges of privilege and social injustice will be abolished, and the rich contribute more for the welfare of the poor.
See, let me tell you something. What they say?
If civil war comes, and I do think it is imminent, you're quite right, it will for us be the price of freedom. Our people here have for a long time been prepared for this eventuality, and I am confident of their readiness. I think that when it does come, the people on the other side would be surprised as to what they're going to get. And I'm confident that it will not last long.
We'll surely come out as a nation because we're fighting a just cause. Even a little child on the street will tell you this. We shall never go back to Nigeria again. God's grace will surely emerge as a nation. And so, as far as this war continues, we'll fight to the last man.
This is what Biafra is, the end of the journey for a persecuted, massacred, pursued people. We have made all attempts at a democratic resolution of this crisis. I have offered open elections, plebiscite. I have offered just an open carte blanche suggestion, anybody who can find a democratic way of finding out the wishes of the people, let him suggest it and we will go for it.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Holy, holy.
If you do not believe in what we are doing, then you better get out. We're not going to stop. God knows we can never stop until Biafra is restored. We are peace-loving people. We abhor death and killing of another soul. It's in our nature, that's how we are. But because of that, they have been coming and killing us all these years. We've kept quiet. They've been killing and killing and killing, quiet. We have a case at the ICC. We have a case at Africa Union. We have a case at what else again? Pending before the UN in New York. We've been to Geneva to tender our case. Before UN, till today, nothing. In fact, the more we complain to them, the more they come to abduct and rape our children, the more they come to kill us, the more they want to take over our land and our forests. And who told them that's going to be possible in our time? In a movement that I lead. You think you can come into our land and take it over? Oh dear. That means you don't know who we are.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this very program. Wherever you are joining from, like and share the program. Share to family and friends, share to your neighbors, share to everyone that is close to you. Get them involved so that we can be able to preach this very gospel this evening. It is going to be a very quick one. I'm not going to waste much of your time. So as many as are able to connect, as you join, you invite someone to join. I appreciate you and I welcome you. Like and share. Those who are watching now and those who are going to watch later on, you are all welcome. You are all appreciated, and I urge you to continue to do your own part. As I have always said, this is a very interesting time. A very interesting time in the cause of Biafra. If you are still around till date, watching and witnessing what is happening, if you have made it this far, congratulations. A big congratulations. But the battle is not yet over. More things are going to happen. That is why you must position yourself properly. You must be able to have an independent mind. This is a time for us to have an independent mind in this journey of Biafra. As we are asking for independence of Biafra, we should also try and liberate our mind from captivity. We must have to liberate our mind. So many of us, our mind have been enslaved, directly and indirectly, some intentionally and some unintentionally, some because of what they will eat and drink, some because of gain and position, they have sold their mind. Many hearts and minds are in captivity. I have always said it, each time you join my program, either on TikTok, on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, watch the program with an open mind. Keep away your group mentality. Don't come to this program with your group mentality. If you join this program with your group mentality, you will head nowhere. You are not going to get anything. You won't understand anything. You will keep on going around with your hatred. You will keep on hating yourself. You keep on fighting yourself. Why those who are making differences are making differences across board? You should be thinking, what are you going to do to create an impact? Now that our leaders are not around, even though our leaders are not around, they didn't leave us alone. They are still trying their best to extend their hands of message to us. They are still trying as much as they can to make sure that we get the required information. But are you connected? That is the question. So many of us are not connected to the messages that is coming. So many of us are not connected to the message that is coming simply because we have decided to enslave our mind by ourselves due to our attitude and behaviors. You must deal with the group mentality in you. Remember, I have always said it, I am not against you being in any mushroom group you decide to be in. But I want you to, first of all, investigate and make sure that that group you belong Their primary objective of gathering must be self-determination, which is our collective interest. If they are gathering for selfish interests of one person or the other, take yourself away from that group. If they are gathering for personal gratification, take yourself away from that. The only genuine project that is before you and I, every genuine Biafran agitator today, is to free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Nnamdi. Their freedom. That is the only project we have. As they are approaching their appeal, all effort must be put in place to make sure they are free. Anybody that is bringing any program at this time, any program that is not about the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or Mazi Nnamdi is a distractor. Is a distractor. Because you and I know that the only people that have the templates of the restoration of Biafra is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Nnamdi. Just like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said all the time, that he's the only one that knows everything. You only know what he wants you to know. And Mazi Nnamdi used a phrase, what you don't know is bigger than you. These two phrases are very important in this journey. And some of us don't read meaning into these things. When they say it, you repeat it. Some of you copy it. You copy it and say, but you don't think deep. Why is that statement made? You don't look at the weight of that statement. What you don't know is bigger than you. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu say, you might be a principal officer, yet you know nothing. You might be a principal officer. You will only know what I want you to know. That is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said. That is why when he was talking about the 100 men, those who are qualified, in the qualification of being part of the 100 men, there's never a place where they mentioned that you must be a principal officer. There's no place he said that you must be have a ranking position in IPOB. There's no place he said that you must take an oath for you to be among that 100 men. He said, these are those who were born from their mother's womb, who have divine assignment to pursue the restoration of Biafra. And these people, they can give anything, they can do anything for the cause of Biafra. They can put their life on the line. When it comes to Biafra, they don't take back anything. That is the description he gave. But today, we still see some of you, so many of you, you are still listening to lies, propaganda, and blackmail. Some of you, you still cage yourself in one mushroom group. You cage your brain and cage your senses in one mushroom group, and you cannot think outside the box anymore. You cannot even have a critical thinking of what you are hearing. So many of you do no longer know the difference between reality, dream, and wishes. You no longer know the difference between a reality, dream, and wish. It is sad. And that is why today you see somebody, an Igbo man, Igbo Biafran, will join enemies to castigate Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. A man who is serving life sentence because of you. A man who they are threatening with death sentence because of you. All you can do is to on your camera and insult him. Mazi Simon Ekpa, who was standing in to keep his legacy, you join enemies to destroy him. We are talking about his appeal. You are not concerned about making contribution to see that he is properly represented. It doesn't concern you. Even though you cannot contribute, you can't keep your mouth shut. You are busy discouraging people. You don't want to be part of the protest, yet you can't keep silent. You are distracting people with wrong informations just to make yourself relevant when you are irrelevant. You are absolutely irrelevant to the people who really committed themselves to the agitation of Biafra. Many of you, I know there are many Biafrans who this agitation is in their heart. There are many people that are, from the bottom of your hearts, They want Biafra to be free. There are Biafrans who can give anything for Biafra. And many of them have been taken advantage of. So many of them have been taken advantage of because of their love for Biafra. There are some of us that we love the issue of Biafra to a fault. That when Biafra is mentioned, we don't even find time to investigate. We don't even have the second thought before we do anything because of the love we have for Biafra. But this is not the time. This is not the time. I know many people are doing what they are doing out of love for Biafra. But before you do anything, put your brain in that. That is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, in his broadcast, he will say, come with pen and paper. It is not literally coming with pen. It doesn't literally mean that you should bring a pen and a paper. Come with your brain. Come with your common sense. Come with your common sense into the Biafra struggle. When you are listening to Biafra message, listen with your common sense. Don't come to a Biafran platform where message is being preached, genuine message, and you are busy looking for mistakes. You are busy looking for wrong language that was used. You are busy correcting English language and thinking of things that is meaningless. That is what we see today. That is why some people, they can't find anything good in their brothers or their sisters. Today, you see Biafrans attacking the Supreme Leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. A man facing life sentence for you and I, even for the politician, on behalf of anybody that is an Igbo person. And you have the God to stand where evil is planned against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or a Biafran agitator. God will never forgive you. You hear an evil plan against a Biafra, a genuine Biafra agitator, more especially our leaders. You hear a plan against them, you participate, or you hear and you keep silent. God will not forgive you. You will pay dearly in this world and in the world to come. God will not forgive you. Because at this time, even non-Biafrans are speaking up. Non-Biafrans are taking the challenge, speaking up. How much more you, who claim to be a Biafran? It is sad, but I pray that we wake up before it is too late. I pray. Today, this evening we are going to play a lot of videos. We are going to play a lot of videos, and we will use those videos for the message of this evening. And we are going to be starting with a video that was made by one of our brothers in the Middle Belt, who made a video. Many of you must have watched the video. And sometimes when you watch the video, you don't think deep. You watch it it's just like a video. But that video has a lesson. If somebody from Middle Belt could speak in that manner, if somebody who is a non-Biafran will be concerned about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in that manner, how much more you? You should be ashamed of yourself. If somebody far away is concerned about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and you, what you are doing is to attack him, attack Mazi Nnamdi, disrupt them and not support. You should be ashamed of yourself. And that is why I'm going to play the video. Let it come from his mouth. So when you are listening to him as a Biafra, if you come across this video and you're listening to him, you will be ashamed of yourself. That someone who is not a Biafran is making a case for a spirit leader. Why you are busy attacking him and dehumanizing him? Let us hear what Simon has to say.
See, let me tell you something. I know they fear anybody from here, but if I must say this thing, I'm going to say my mind. The fact is, and what is informing my mind is the fact that nobody needs to find. I'm going to speak to you, and I'm going to tell you this. Nnamdi Kanu was a mistake that happened to you in IPOB. Was a mistake. Why do I say it's a mistake? It's a mistake in the sense that, despite the fact that all these things that this guy has stated some years ago, that is happening now, a bunch of you motherfuckers, let me put it, a bunch of you motherfuckers cannot even rally around to defend and protect other from the US or from any other country or whatever. But the fact is, the power lies within you people.
Absolutely.
You bunch of motherfuckers that are not ready to live up to. Do you know what it means? Do you know what it takes for this man to actually go even a year without seeing his wife and his children, without fucking his wife, to get that gratification? And you bunch of motherfuckers, even ordinary Soludo, young Buro Oba has to coerce you into the need why you need to open the market for economy
Nonsense economy.
despite the fact that you have your own brother that is detained while other people are still working freely. But these criminals are still working freely in Nigeria. And all you have to say is, when we come out, they will kill us. Nigerian government not like us. Whatever. Let's pay money to lobby the US. It's a shame on you motherfuckers. And the last time anybody ever come up to tell me about Biafra, tell me what you're going to do about Biafra, or the fact that Nigeria needs to reset itself to accommodate everybody. But as long as this is concerned, you people are nothing but bunch of disgrace. With just an exception of few that are ready to lend their voice in regard. Is this a country? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu told you people that this is not a country, and we are seeing, and even the globe is seeing that this is not a country. This rubbish is happening. This man sacrificed his life, the life of his family, for you people, and all the bunch of motherfuckers can come and do is just to capitalize on the fact that when we come, they go kill us. They don't kill them now. They don't carry and go casino, sentence them to life. And you bunch of motherfuckers are busy there in their homes, fucking their own wives, fucking your own wives, having your own children to see them every day. While this man cannot see his wife and his children, do I agree with whatever he has done? I don't agree with the fact that his pronouncement or whatever has resulted to some casualties. But what has resulted to the casualties? The manhandling of the federal government of Nigeria of the situation that has translated into this. Because if the government would handle this reasonably, it wouldn't have resulted to this. And this is a man that has a strong conviction, no matter what it takes. For you bunch of motherfuckers, keep doing your business. The last time I see any idiot between God and man coming to tell me why we need to do this on social media, thunder fire you. You bunch of motherfuckers have the resources and all it takes to liberate this man. And the fact is it going to be an easy route? It's not going to be an easy route. Just like the route he took, it wasn't an easy route. But you idiots are waiting for an easy route to take to actualize that. Shame on you motherfuckers.
He had just said it. They are waiting for an easy route. They are waiting for an easy route. That was why they did not support Mazi Nnamdi. Every one of them, Ohaneze Ndigbo, instead of supporting Mazi Nnamdi, they are waiting for easy route. That will never come. They were looking for an easy route that will never happen. Instead of joining to support Mazi Nnamdi, it is a difficult road. Because the difficult road that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu took is not an easy road. He took a difficult road. And for you to get him out, you must follow a difficult route. Only Mazi Nnamdi understands very well that we take an extraordinary thing to bring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu out. Nigerian government committed extraordinary rendition to bring him. For you to take him away from them, you must do extraordinary thing. And the only man who was willing to do extraordinary was only one man, Mazi Nnamdi. But what did they do? Because they want easy road. They joined the government, they joined the saboteurs, they joined the caliphate and attacked him and took him out. What crime did Mazi Nnamdi Kanu commit? The only crime he committed was he was trying to secure Southeast at a time when other people were preparing to secure themselves in Southeast, they were not making any move. In a time when every region we are preparing to secure themselves, Fulani was rampaging everywhere. Nobody was ready to do anything. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu rose up and decided to defend his own people. That is the only crime he committed, nothing else. And let's hear the explanation more. Creation of the ESN is one of the major things why they can hold him, why they held him.
If you enter Southeast that time, also one, go to Abakaliki. People were them saying, herdsmen, we are killing people, raping people. Meanwhile, the Southwest, the Yorubas have come up with a Montego. Then our own, nothing is happening. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said the best thing is that you let us organize Eastern Security Network. I have said with mandates. And if they play it in court, they will play this in court where he was saying that we are going to, after establishing to take it to the 5 Eastern states, for them to enact as a law. Since they don't know what the governors don't know what to do, let us assist them. I think what I'm saying. So their duty is to go to every bush, chase everybody out. And they started well. But because some people have started appreciating them, the so-called leaders decided to recruit criminals and join them. Now watch what happened. You will now see that unknown government kill people in the Southern Bank, Imo State. In the next 15 minutes, the police PRO in Owerri has issued a press release. The members of IPOB. Now you now ask yourself, when did this man from Owerri to Mbano is close to 1 hour? When did this man run to from Owerri to Mbano, carry out investigation, come up with the listen? And the people that you arrested who said that I'm a member of IPOB, look at my ID card, look at my chapter, look at this, to at least to establish that fact. So what they normally do is that in order to tell the dem Buhari that they were working, immediately they get all those armed robbers off camera, they will now tell them what to say. They will now back then carry a flag of their practice put there. Watch it. Fight for God.
That is exactly what transpired. What he just saw here is exactly what transpired. So today, when you are hearing them talking about Mazi Nnamdi, when you see Mazi Nnamdi Kanu illegally convicted, every single thing in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu are all false, made up stories. Just like they did to Mazi Nnamdi. They blackmailed the IPOB, they demonized the ESN, created a false flag just to demonize the ESN. And while they were doing this, some idiots bought into it. The people that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was trying to protect come against it. And the people who championed the atrocity, including kidnapping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, were the politicians, governors. That is why today, when you hear that somebody in this agitation is working with the governors, you spit on the idiot. Such person is not supposed to see the light of the day. You claim to be an agitator. You claim to be a Biafra agitator, and yet you are working with the criminals. You should be ashamed of yourself. Wherever you are, we know the problem we are facing in this zoological republic. It did not start yesterday. Neither will it end tomorrow. And we have to know that we are not wanted in this zoological republic. We are not needed in any way. We are not needed. We are not needed. The atrocities against the Igbo people didn't start yesterday. That is why I tell people the origin of even the Christian genocide is the genocide against the Igbos. And the Christian genocide has everything to do with the Igbos. We are in a country where they don't want us to survive. What crime have we committed? What crime has the Igbo people committed? They are hardworking. They want to succeed. They don't want to be beggars. They don't want to be left behind. That is the crime we have committed. The only crime we have committed is whom we are. And government decided to create their own ideas. Give the dog a bad name to kill it. That was exactly what they did. And thank God today, people, some responsible and reasonable people are speaking our mind. It is not only us talking. But I hope the world is listening.
You see that hatred you are feeling towards it. It is strategically programmed. It is a result of decades of stereotyping, labeling, and propaganda designed by colonial masters.
This is a Yoruba woman talking about the stereotyping of the Igbo person. You know, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu used to say this, and when he said it, some of you will think it's just a mere word. That Biafra is the light of Africa. Once Biafra is free, Africa will be free. Once Biafra is free, every indigenous person in Nigeria will be liberated. Even the colonial master knows that. The British knows that. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said this every time. Today, I want you to listen. This is a Yoruba woman making the confession. A Yoruba woman is making the confession. Listen to what she's saying.
You see that hatred you are feeling towards it. It is strategically programmed. It is a result of decades of stereotyping, labeling, and propaganda designed by colonial masters, because they know that if Nigeria will be free, if Nigeria will be liberated today, it will be spearheaded by an Igbo person. We were intentionally programmed by our colonial masters to hate this. And if you want to be honest with yourselves, our reasons for hating this tribe is not valid. Because what we accuse them of doing, we do worse.
Did you hear it? A Yoruba woman speaking. You know, sometimes when we say this thing, people will say, oh, they talk too much because Igbos and that. But confessions are coming from all angles and all people. And that is why when we see them, we bring it to your knowledge so that you can hear it from another place. This is a Yoruba woman speaking. Speaking. The same thing we have been saying and shouting. What crime have we committed? They know that the only people that will make Africa what it's supposed to be, that will make Nigeria habitable, are the Igbos. And because of that, they concocted lie against us. They made sure that every policy they have is against us. Every policy against. What did Mazi Nnamdi Kanu request for? When he made the governors, what did he ask for? A simple thing he asked for. What did he ask for? All he asked for was seaport. Not just in Igbo land, in the entire Biafra land, Port Harcourt and the airport, build our roads, second Niger bridge. Simple request he made. And instead of listening to him, they were busy promising him 300 million per month. And he said, no, I'm talking about my people. It's not about me. Nigeria is not a place for the Biafrans, more especially the Igbos, and will never be.
Where do we even start talking about marginalization of the Igbo man? Like, for instance, the issue of establishment of seaports. I was a student at the University of Calabar. There was a time there was a seaport at Calabar. There was a time the Port Harcourt seaport was working. There was also a time that they have this other one, I think in Warri. And then I think during the port, so they have is it 2 or 1 or whatever they have in that particular area. Now, and did you also know that Southeast, or this region, or all the Eastern region, is every ship that is coming from outside Nigeria, first of all, passes Southeast before it gets to Lagos.
Did you hear that? Any ship that is coming to Nigeria, we go through Southeast before getting to Lagos. And yet, they refuse Southeast from having a seaport. And even it is clear that the southeastern part of Nigeria has the deepest part of the ocean, deepest access, has the closest access to ocean, more than Lagos. And this man is revealing that any ship coming into Nigeria will pass through Southeast. before it will get to Lagos. And yet, each time we apply for a seaport, they will say no. They made sure that we don't have a seaport, even though we have closest access to the sea.
And so if a ship is coming from London, it gets to Southeast first before it gets to Lagos. I can take ocean direction there that it flows from here. Even the biggest part of that ocean is in this area, not even in Lagos.
So they intentionally skip
the idea,
and send to Lagos.
Purposely to make Lagos a super state, idea of a mega city. I was excited the Port Harcourt port was working. And when our people that were doing shipping and forwarding agency business, many of them came out to Port Harcourt. They were working, they were happy. Suddenly, they now stopped. The Calabar port closed, the Port Harcourt port closed. And then they said, everybody now go to Lagos. Lagos is oversaturated. Recently, the president went to London, to UK, and we had the negotiated that this plan. It was whether somebody else, the British or so, the government wanted to invest in Nigeria seaport or whatever, and a huge sum of money was raised, and that was meant to be used for the Apapa and the Tinkan port, and possibly the other port that is in the Lake area. Now, the Port Harcourt port was not mentioned. The Calabar port was not mentioned. The Warri port was not mentioned. Meanwhile, these are the area that services the people. Now, talking of marginalization, the greatest number of people that import goods from outside Nigeria are the Igbo people. Now, if you now have to import, you guys to Lagos. For you to bring a container from Lagos to this place, it takes more than 1 million naira.
Wow.
Not just that, just because of transportation. Because we live in a country that, one, the railway system is not working.
Yes.
And the waterways are also not working. So it has to be through the road. And anytime there's an increase in petroleum product, price of petroleum prices,
what you just heard here is exact truth and nothing but the truth. The one Nigerians, the politicians, those idiots that are pretending they know this truth. It is before them. But none of them is bold enough to face it. All these are what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was trying to address. And instead of listening to him, they tagged him a troublemaker. They tagged him a terrorist. They gave him different kinds of names. And the most painful thing is that the people who are tarnishing the image of our supreme leader and making sure he's being detained are Igbo politicians. These same politicians you will see every time they come to their national TV, begin to speak big grammars and talk all manner of nonsense in their mouth. They will continue to spill lies that have no truth in them. They are the people you see. What crime have we committed? We say Nigeria is not working. We don't want to be part of it. That is the crime Mazi Nnamdi Kanu committed. That he cannot be part of a fraudulent entity. That he will not be part of it. A country where terrorists are in charge. A country where terrorists decide what happens. A country where the terrorists are the ones that are in control. I saw a video that was made, a country where, as we speak today, the latest news was that terrorists, kidnappers, kidnap soldiers and they're asking for ransom. A country where kidnappers will kidnap soldiers. They will kidnap soldiers and ask for ransom. Then what is the fate of the ordinary citizens? I saw this. I want you to listen to it. Kidnappers kidnap soldiers. What is the fate of ordinary citizens? Listen to it.
Nigerians, bandits don't kidnap 3 Nigerian soldiers and they demand 50 million naira from them for their release. And they don't do this.
families. Imagine.
Yeah? Now make I give you the full gist. You know the story. Even behind them, the Shakaji will bring them out. The federal government of Bandit Media, they will tell them this is, but I can always tell you, I got your back. As a hider, Alahaji will bring them out. So, according to reports, because I don't speak for the families of these soldiers when they here. This son, they gave them pass. Now 26 NA, 26 NA. I will indicate the 3 will be soldiers because now only 3 for here be soldiers. Others will be soldiers. There be 6 soldiers in number, but 3 is key. Even the 3 way is key. They say now only 1 you don't see. You never see. They never know the way about of the other 2. So for these settings here, now only 3 is soldiers. And I will indicate the 3 will be soldiers here. So according to the report, they say these people they give them pass after they pass out from Kaduna, they pass out from Kaduna here. So normally, army supposed to go drop them for Zulu or Kebbi State. You don't understand? But the army don't carry them, reach Gusau, Zamfara State, can't drop them. Say you don't late. Say tomorrow morning, make everybody find the way. This is according to the families. So in the morning, these boys go enter motor from that Gusau Park here, enter motor. Gusau for Zamfara State. Then when they go to their house for Zulu. Getting to Anka, that is near Anka, is terrorists, aka bandits, they come out and they kidnap their back in the morning. But 3 escape. That's the part never tell you about. You want to see. So they pack up there. At first, they demand 50 million naira. So they could pay 50 million naira. Then later, they come bring it down to each person could pay 5 million. Then I go ask the family to say, not only contact the military about this. Say, they don't kidnap some of their own. They say they don't contact. But the military never respond, never do anything about it. See this one when I put arrow so this 3. When I put arrow 1, 2, 3, and then the soldiers. The 3 of them. See this one with a uniform. See I'm here with a uniform. This one, this particular person, I him with this uniform. So Balis they demand 5 million naira from them. And according to the families, the crisis they don't get shishi. Shishi they don't get. Chingba they don't get. And this thing happens since on the 2nd of July 2026. So today making it 13 days. 13 days or 14 days we don't spend for this kidnappers then. And the military never do anything about it. This is sad. It's very, very sad and shameful. Bandits don't be kidnapped. Military! I feel as if this is not the getting worse. It's getting worse. Every day, they kidnap people. Just imagine. Passing out to. They just go house, go relax before they will enter the real journey. Before they will start the real journey. They don't kidnap them. They don't kidnap them. See them. Including the driver. Nigerians, you know this story. If they hide that, English and Latin.
That is Nigeria for you. And you can imagine this guy that is bringing this on. This is an individual able to bust out informations about the terrorists. But the contraption called Nigeria cannot investigate and find out these terrorists. The same way these guys, they can't do. Not even a little. The willingness is not there. All they do every day is to come and put one lie or the other. And as we speak today, you see what they are doing. The drug baron in Asorok doesn't even care. The drug baron in Asorok is concerned about himself. He doesn't care what happens to you or me. He doesn't care about anybody. He cares about himself. The Zoological Republic is a failed state. And when we say it, some idiots who claim to be one Nigerians take to challenge us and say it's not so. But every video I'm going to play here is going to show you that Nigeria is a failed state. Will never work, has never worked, and will not work. We don't just say it and go to sleep. Every video I'm playing tonight is going to confirm to you that Nigeria is a failed state. And we remain a failed state. We never succeed. Disintegration is the only answer.
Is everything President Tinubu doing or has done for the past 4 years, does it resonate with you? Do you think he has done well?
To be candid, in terms of security, he has failed. In terms of economy, he has failed.
Failed to economy?
Yeah, although many people will argue that he didn't create the problem, but my own view is that Tinubu brought in Buhari. Buhari brought this country down. The fact is, if they have agreed for Jonathan to remove subsidy during Jonathan when dollar was still very low,
500, 400,
exactly, Naira was still very strong, and Nigeria was making money, you understand? If they have allowed Jonathan to remove subsidy, then definitely we'll face the hardship, but we'll be able to overcome it. Without this same stress we are facing now. This same Tinubu, Bakari, Adeboye, and the rest of them came out and stood against Jonathan removing subsidy. Now the same subsidy now they removed it. They removed it. Yeah. Now we are now facing the hardship when dollar is higher, Naira is weak. Economically, we are not working, we are not strong. Removing subsidy now is the wrong time. The timing is totally wrong. If they have allowed Jonathan to remove subsidy back then, we'll have overcome the stress, and Nigeria will have been better now. You understand? But I don't know. They are the leaders, as they claim. I don't usually call politicians leaders. Nigerian politicians are not leaders. I thought they are not. They are rulers. They are not.
They are rulers.
They don't live by example. Leaders live by examples. Nigerian politicians are not leaders. They are not.
I met one of the APC Tinubu, loyalists, and he argued that the state allocations, the GDP, everything has increased. That the president, is not the sole problem we have. He said we should go and hold our local leaders, local government chairmen, state, but we should go and hold them responsible.
I think that's always the argument that the citizen should hold their governors, their local government chairman responsible for the failure of the state. But let me just give a scenario. The father of the house gave the mother money to prepare for the kids. Unfortunately, the mother didn't do the right thing. Now, people outside were accusing the children that look at the way you look, you are not well fed and stuff like that. Who do you think they are going to refer to? Father, of course, is the head of family. So now you are telling me, as a kid, as a child in the family, I should go and meet my mother. Or I should tell my father that what happened. Things are not working in this household. What should be done? What's the problem?
Some people will still argue that this is democracy. The way Tinubu is elected, that's the same way local government chairman, local governors have been elected. So he does not, have the whole power to monitor into the state and local affairs.
Why would APC have the majority house? Why would APC have majority governors? You are telling me the president has no power to control these governors, these senators, these House of Rep members. Then I think something is wrong somewhere. You see, the fact is, Nigeria is an abnormal society.
That is the word. Abnormal society.
I'm telling you, if a part of
abnormal society. That is the right word.
And find it difficult as humans to lead ourselves in Nigeria, then we are not what we call humans. If part of us can lead themselves,
anybody that calls himself a Nigerian is not human. That is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu call you people
the alpha
animals in the zoo.
And the other wolves follow. They don't have problem with that. Why will it be difficult for Nigerian leaders to lead Nigeria? Then if you go to, I've been to different states in Nigeria. I've been fortunate to travel around Nigeria and few other African countries. What I discover is the problem of Nigeria is religion. The problem of Nigeria is tribe. That is tribal problem, religious problem, and political problem. I went to Taraba.
What Nigeria is suffering is value system. Don't need talking religion. Value system.
I live in Gashaka.
they do not have electricity. I don't know if you have it now. They do not have electricity. How long? It's said for years. They've not years. I step over.
That is Nigerian story you are hearing.
But funny thing is, if you enter the community, you will see poles, you will see cables and stuff like that. So I asked, okay, what about these poles and cables? They said these are politician gimmicks. They will come, they will campaign, they will do stuff. But there is no electricity. And the cycle keeps recycling. Exactly. So what we have is political criminals. We've been talking about problem.
That is Nigeria, what Nigeria looks like. Every evening, when we speak, we show you what it looks like. And those who are confessing are the people that call themselves one Nigeria. But because they lack the balls to do what we are doing, they continue to dine and wine with their enemies. Some of them even promote the idiocy in that contraption. Some of them, they come online and speak big grammar. After speaking their big grammar, they still go and support the drug baron. Today, the drug baron is making useless their PVC. When Mazi Nnamdi Kanu say your PVC cannot save you, they thought it's a joke. It is happening, and they are still speaking grammar.
Is that you will not be facing a formidable opposition candidate in the next presidential election. I give you a classical example. Peter Obi has been haunted from Labour Party to ADC and now to NDC as we speak. Just very recently, the ADC was deregistered and re-registered almost within a week. So you see a systematic attempt, a war of attrition to degrade opposition voice and opposition elements. Even those of us in the activism space. Justice Crack had reported the objective living condition of our troops in the front line. The guy was kidnapped here in Abuja, in an operation that plausible deniability can be maintained because these guys did not wear any uniform. They even lied to him that they were from the DSS, only for us to find out later that they were members of the counterintelligence command of the Directorate of State. Shamefully so. Until today, no one has come to apologize. Keep in mind, they were not after those who took the money meant to feed the soldiers. I mean, our soldiers were not eating well. You did not target those who took that money, who misappropriated that money. You did not deal with those. Your focus was on the person who reported it, a citizen journalist, a videographer. That was your target. This government has come to the ultimate conclusion that it cannot be, they are unre-electable. Not saying Nigerian will cast its vote for this government. They do their polls all the time. They do it all the time. And they have come to that conclusion that they cannot win a fair game of election. So they must invent chaos. I give you an unconventional example. When lunatics are running the show, when someone who is crazy takes your phone and is running, a lunatic, someone who is actually a lunatic. If you want to retrieve that item from that lunatic, you want to bring down the roof of his house. The whole idea is not because he's more powerful than you. The whole idea is to scare you so that you just say, well, I'm a decent man. How can I dress like this and be dragging this rather crazy person? And that's exactly what we are facing. They have embezzled the country. They are eating bribe funds left and center. Our budgets are unfunded. Some are defunded. A whole Ministry of Health, 36 million. That ministers are now crying. The spokesman to the president has come on TV to say that ministers are running ministry with their personal resources. And these people claim that they remove subsidy and they have more resources, but they cannot run ministries. Ministries run with the minister's resources. I'm quoting the presidential spokesman, no less personality. And then at the end of the day, you see that these people have come to that conclusion that they cannot win. Because they cannot win, they must pull down the house. They must create chaos. They must discourage Nigerians. Look at the numbers. Mr. President met 87 million multidimensionally poor Nigerians. As we speak today, 140 million multidimensionally poor Nigerians live in Nigeria. I said it on the sister station that there are 35 million acutely hungry Nigerians. Hungry. Like people who wake up in the morning, don't know where the next meal will come from. 35 million. If we form a federal republic of hungry Nigerians and make President Tinubu president of the Federal Republic of Hungry Nigerians, it will be the same size as the country of Ghana. It will be bigger than the country of Benin Republic. It will be half the country of South Africa. It will be bigger than the country of Rwanda. It will be 40% the country of the United Kingdom. That is the number of hungry people in Nigeria. And those of us who are pretending to eat, it is 001, 100, 101, 000 sometimes. If you know what I mean. So the crazy people are running away with our country. And we must match them at that level, retrieve our country, fix our country, rebuild our military, retool our police. So that our military is respected again. Our country is no longer respected again. We've lost 4 generals within 6 months. 4 generals. Ukraine, that is fighting the second most powerful military in the world, has not lost 4 generals this year. Nigeria has lost 4 generals. Under this government, we've had 13 school kidnappings, 13 in 3 years. Do you know what threw Jonathan out of office? 1 school kidnapping in Chibok. 1. That was enough for Jonathan to leave office as president. But under this government, we've had 13 in 3 years. For context, his predecessor was also an APC president, had 15 in 8 years. Under this government, we've had 13 in 3 years. And where it is going, they'll probably quadruple that number before we leave. If they, God forbid, they manage to retain office. God, of course, God will not allow that. So Nigerians must retrieve their country. As we speak, sir, there are 40 children in the bush in Oyo State. There are children in the bush in Kwara State. There are people in the bush in Kaduna State. There are people in the bush in Edo State where I come from. Paying of ransom is now official policy of government. People now come on TV to describe how they paid ransom. No less personality than the former special advisor to the president of political, Hakeem Baba, described in vivid terms how they paid ransom to retrieve his cousin who was kidnapped in Kaduna. I know of 2 individuals from Edo State, 2 doctors, 2 sons of the same parent that were kidnapped. We lost 1. The second one, I was somewhere in 360. He walked up and said, he once talked about me in the podcast. I was the person who was kidnapped. He showed me his leg that he still had bullet wounds in his leg. His leg was too bad. This is the people, they brought our country to the ground. And then they claim that, where will President Tinubu campaign in 2027? Where? Is it in Edo where I come from? Although the governor is kidding by saying he will give the president 2.5 million votes, which is another form of craziness that I have never seen in my life. In 2023, total number of registered voters 2,250,000 about. But my government wants to bring out 2.5 million votes from 2,250,000 registered voters. So we will need about 250,000 posts to vote. That is assuming that everybody living there will vote for Tinubu. I have told him before and I have said it again. The first state that President Tinubu will lose in Nigeria will be Edo State. And anybody who attempts to rig Edo's election for Tinubu will have to go through Edo. At the appropriate time, we'll go back home and have a conversation with that people. At the appropriate time. So these are the issues. When you have a government that is abysmal, they will go through every means to bring down our democratic culture. Even if it means collapsing the democracy from the seat. And then just find a way to hold on to power, even if they are doing it on top of the ashes of the country that they want to the ground.
We will continue to bring you the disgrace of Nigeria. We will continue to share the informations. So it won't just be like we are describing what Nigeria is. When we say Nigeria is a failed state, we don't just say it and go to sleep. We say it and we show you what it looks like. So that those who are not even Nigerians, who are asking, why are these people agitating? Why are Biafran people so worried? You will see for yourself and hear for yourself the reason we do not want to be part of this zoological republic, a failed state where lawlessness is the order of the day, where drug baron and insensitive people
The
are running.
politicians don't need our votes to get to power. Who do they need? The judges. That is why Wike is building mansions for judges. That is why state governors are donating Prados and Land Cruisers to judges across the states. That is.
Did you hear that? This is one of the things, the difference is that when we say it, we follow it up. This thing, this Chika or the Chidi Odenkalu is saying is something that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu have said over and over again. Mazi Simon Ekpa shouted over and over again that these people don't need your vote to win. Your PVC is useless. Your PVC is useless. Mazi Simon Ekpa made it clear that the person that wins the very case, the wins election, is determined by the court and the INEC. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said the same. The person that determines who becomes who is the court and the INEC. And every day they will tell you, go and get your PVC, go and get your... And some of you idiots, we got it, including this man that is talking about. That's the difference between us and them. Their own is to come and claim they are educated. They come online, they speak PP grammar, and they go back, and the evil continue to fester. They only come here to speak grammar to make themselves popular, and they go back. Things will continue to happen. Let's listen to what he's saying and let the world see how decayed Nigeria is. When we say Nigeria is a failed state, this is the confirmation.
The politicians don't need our votes to get to power. Who do they need? The judges. That is why Wike is building mansions for judges. That is why state governors are donating Prados and Land Cruisers to judges across the states. That is why they are making sure judges are the best paid people in Nigeria. And meanwhile, governors who cannot pay minimum wage are feeding judges with the kind of money and emoluments and free prey that you cannot add up and cannot declare. Because this is not fair.
So, Prof, you think buying houses and giving vehicles to judges are wrong?
And by politicians? Of course I think it's wrong. Do you think I'm going to pull back from that and say it is very right? It is wrong.
To have evidence
what happened to judicial bodies? Now, okay, so a governor has money or thinks they have money to give to procurement of vehicles for judges. Why is that not in the judicial budget?
So anything that anyone, because in the code of conduct for judicial officers, it is given that there is an amount, there is a level of gifting that any judge can subject himself or herself to.
No.
But it's in the code of conduct.
Go and read the
cannot receive
precise
gifts. Do you amount these kind of houses or vehicles to this kind of gifts?
Absolutely, yes. So as a matter of fact,
any judge that receives this vehicle or house has breached the code of judicial conduct.
As for example, if I'm a lawyer arguing before a court in Nigeria, and you have received, and I'm in a case involving a state government or a state government, and you have received a car, I will seek to recuse you. As a matter, I will not negotiate it. I will recuse you, or you will recuse, or you will sack me from your court. But I will not continue doing a case before you if you have received a vehicle from a governor. And if you're a chief judge and you are signing a case, having received a car from a governor, I'll fight you to the end if I were a lawyer in the state. I would. This is the point. And now we all have to make accommodations for these things. I practiced law. I started off legal practice at a time in this country that when that was unheard of. I've been a lawyer in this country for nearly 40 years. Okay? I started off before the law entirely left me. And I'm happy that it left me because there are things I can no longer understand. This is the same country in which Alice Nnamdi, when he became military governor of Anambra State, summoned Emmanuel Araka, who was the chief judge of Anambra State at the time. Araka declined to go to the office of the state governor because he found it incompatible with his status as a judge. And he was seeking accommodation for them to meet in a neutral place. Alice Nnamdi summoned him a second time. He declined. Alice Nnamdi went to Tunde Idiagbon and asked Tunde Idiagbon, it is either that man is fired or you get rid of me. And because Alice Nnamdi, although he was a Navy captain, he was senior to Tunde Idiagbon. Okay? Alice Nnamdi was in regular course 1 of the Nigerian Defense Academy. He only lost seniority as a result of the Civil War. Alright? But actually his mates were Ali Gusto and the Lord. Okay? So he was in Oladipo Dia and all that. So as a result, they looked at Tunde Alice Nnamdi, and what did they do? He told him fire him. They fired Emmanuel Araka as a result.
1984. Okay? Now, why did they fire him? Because he asserted his independence as a chief judge of the state. We have judges in this country, and we still do, by the way, who are not willing to bend to the caprice of temporal power for the purpose of keeping office. But now they are in danger. And it is important to remember that the judicial office is not one where you go to beg for cars in order to do your work. These days, if you're independent, you don't get a car. Your orderly is withdrawn. You're sent to a court where the roof is leaking, and you're sent to a place where you're endangered without protection. That is what they do to the judges who are today willing to be independent and faithful to their judicial office.
So you think independence largely has been thrown out of the window in Nigerian judicial?
Manifestly.
Are we in danger?
Who are we?
The people of Nigeria.
Are we not living with it at the moment? That is where violence is rising. Because lawyers are going to hire heavies, are going to hire thugs to recover debt rather than go to court. You know, mechanisms of mediation and arbitration are not working because you cannot trust them anymore to work. People, you have court orders that are not being respected. I'm not even going to what is his name? Alhaji Mohammed, the immediate past, the former minister for energy, right? Power, who was convicted. He was convicted in absentia, wasn't he? Was he in court when he was convicted? To the best of your knowledge, is that compatible with the standards of criminal procedure that you've been told?
Must, when your trial is being opened, your charges will be read to you. When in the close of trial, on judgment, you must be in the dock, standing to receive your trial.
Nobody found that incongruous. That we were convicting a person who was not in court. It seemed all normal. And it is because of the embarrassment and the rising public aspects that they went and looked and took it back from where they secreted it. Because quite clearly, I cannot understand how a person of that seniority could have been undergoing trial while being absent from court, and nobody was worried about that. And so when the public aspects started rising, they went and just collected it back from where they had secreted it in Kaduna. That, it does not bother any of us.
Yet another statement
that is Nigeria for you. We will continue to bring you a confirmation that Nigeria is gone and gone for good. They can continue to pretend. They can continue to pretend. But our duty here is to expose them to the world.
I guess I should adopt the existing line and say I extend my appreciation to His Excellency, the President of the Federal...
I think we have listened to this one before. So we are going to go to their media. Let's go to their Zoological Republic media. Before we go there, we have another confirmation from Mike Arnold. Let's listen to what Mike Arnold had to say about the Zoological Republic. A failed state that is irredeemable, a state in the hand of the terrorists, created for the terrorists and terrorism.
There's a deeper agenda going on here, and you need to not only be paying attention, you need to be stepping in to do something about it. And this is research I've done when I was working on my book Epicenter, which includes quite a bit of Nigerian history. I shared it with some manuscript with some friends of mine, younger people in Nigeria, and all of them were blown away. Wow, I never heard this before. And, I didn't think it was what I found was readily available. It wasn't like I was an archaeologist going through dusty volumes in the basement of some building. I mean, I put together the history of Nigeria and put a thumbnail of it in my book. But these young people, I never heard this before. And one of them told me, they haven't been taught history in Nigeria for 15 years. And that blew my mind. How can you have a nation without teaching its history? Of course, If you know the history of Nigeria, you know why they wouldn't teach it, because it proves that the bloodthirsty regime that has a stranglehold on the nation has no legitimacy. That's and that they're brutal and demonic. That's what the history shows. So they didn't teach it for 15 years. But I looked into that, and then I found that it said, wait, they're teaching it again. As of, I guess it was early last year, or middle of last year, they started teaching history again with a new history curriculum. So I started looking into where did this history curriculum come from? There's no author listed, there's no publishing company listed, but what's listed is the fact that it is done by the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council, NERDIC, is in charge of the curriculum. And that in December 2024, Tinubu appointed a fellow to be the executive chairman of NERDIC. And that's this guy, the executive secretary, Professor Salisu Sheikh. That is the man who not only presided over the new history curriculum, but every curriculum for every course of study at every grade level, from preschool through university, is under this man's control. This is who is teaching Nigerian children today. Now, something you need to know about this man. His claim to fame, publisher of the book, The Islamization of Knowledge. It's a manual, a manifesto for how to embed Islamic doctrine into Islamic academic disciplines. That is his expertise. That is who is writing the curriculum for Nigeria's 50 million school children, has a manifesto called The Islamization of Knowledge, and it's a manual for how to embed Islamic doctrine into secular academic institutions. He was formerly head of the International Institute of Islamic Thought in Nigeria, a global organization whose stated mission is the Islamization of knowledge. He's the former Deputy Secretary General for the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. And he himself has described his curriculum work as, quote, academic jihad. His stated goal is to purge Western thinking from the school system. In his mind, in his philosophy, Western education is forbidden. You heard those words before? That's the name Boko Haram. Literally means Western education is forbidden. And the man who is writing the curriculum for every Nigerian school child of every grade level, every course of study, is the top philosopher of the Boko Haram philosophy, the top
Imagine.
His work, Tinubu has appointed him to wage academic jihad in Nigeria. Carte blanche control over.
This is a very deep revelation that people are not paying attention to. You see, people in that zoological republic, they are just busy talking about irrelevant issues. But the curriculum of the school has been handed over to a terrorist whose only mission is to engage in educational jihad. That is the person that is in charge of Nigeria education curriculum today. That is the person that is going to write the history that you're going to learn in Nigeria. A man with Boko Haram ideology. These things are things that people are supposed to be shouting on top of their voice. But in Nigeria, you can never see anybody talk about it. If you go to their media now, the highest thing you hear there is about kidnapping. But the deep, deep things that they are doing to Islamize Nigeria and put it on the side, that is the detriment to the other people, is happening secretly on different directions. You can imagine the educational curriculum in the hand of a jihadist ordered by Tinubu, and nobody is paying attention. Look at the person that is making the revelation, Mike Arnold. a man from the United States. You cannot hear this information from any media in Nigeria or any studio in Nigeria, any journalist. A foreigner is revealing it. The danger in Nigeria, you don't know. Don't worry. Don't worry. It is coming soon.
What your children are learning. That's who appointed as head of the curriculum. Let me warn you about something. This isn't a verified quote, but it's generally accepted. Abraham Lincoln said this: the philosophy of the classroom of one generation, the philosophy of the next. Nigerian school children today are being spoon-fed Islamic thinking in their mandatory classrooms from preschool through college. 100% because of your president, the moderate secular Democrat with the Christian pastor wife, appointed the top scholar for the Boko Haram philosophy to write the school books for your children. That's what's going on in Nigeria. It's bigger than that, folks. Let's dig into a few more things that Tinubu is doing, because this is a ticking time bomb. He recently signed a deal with Turkey to build a training center for Nigerian special forces in Nigeria. And the group that does Turkey, big country, they have a private military contract they use for all across Africa for all their training programs. It's called Sadat, S-A-D-A-T. It's like, if you're familiar with Russia, they have the Wagner Group. Well, that's the Sadat Group. It was founded by a guy named Adnan. He was formerly President Erdogan's chief military advisor. And he left and founded this organization that now is the primary defense contractor for Turkey and their work in Africa. So it's expected that's who's going to be teaching Nigerian special forces. Now, here's the thing about Sadat, this organization that is going to be doing the teaching, because Tinubu signed the deal. Sadat, the founder, stated he founded that entity to help create Islamic superpowers to prepare for the coming of the Mahdi. That's Islam's prophesied jihad messiah that Dan Fodio built the Sokoto Caliphate to be the platform for this guy. He's going to come in and he's going to assemble all the black flags, and they're going to ride west and establish Sharia law over the whole world until Jesus flies in and worships Muhammad. I mean, that's their theology, that's their prophecy. And Sadat Group, the military training arm of the Turkish military that's going to be training Nigeria's forces, was founded to prepare the way for the Mahdi, and they recruit their trainers from active ISIS fighters in Syria. That's who's training the Nigerian special forces, because Tinubu set it up that way. The moderate, the secular Democrat, the one with the pastor wife, invited a group to prepare the way for the Mahdi, bring active ISIS fighters from Syria to train Nigeria's military, while the school children are being fed Islamic ideology through the mandatory classrooms. That's who is running Nigeria today. It's a ticking time bomb, folks. To add to that, a couple more points you should be aware of. As we speak, in northern Nigeria today, there's as many as 15 million young men being raised as Almajiri. For Christians, you remember Samuel in the Bible was given up by his mom over to the high priest to be raised in the temple. That's what an Almajiri is. They are given over to the madrasa system. Oftentimes, these are extremely primitive, extremely brutal. And they're raised there, these boys, on pure Islamic theology, ideology. Dan Fodio's teaching jihad. You have 15 million of them in that system now. On top of that, you have 10 to 12 million displaced. What they say is 50 to 60% chance of being radicalized. Do the math, folks. In addition to the 50 million school children being taught Islamic ideology in schools today, in every class, every grade, because it's new. In addition to the military special forces being trained by ISIS fighters to prepare for the Mahdi, you have as many as 20 million Nigerian youth today that are on the edge of, if not fully soaked into radicalization. Jihadis, 15 million, as many as 12 to 15 million Algerians raised to be jihadis. Another 5 million, if you do the math, displaced that are likely to be radicalized to become jihadis. Folks, this is a ticking time bomb. This is why I have been very adamant that Trump, somebody intervene. My message to the White House has been, yes, there's this genocide taking place, not just Christians and moderate Muslims, but there's a caliphate that's seeking to prepare for the Mahdi, to this taking over all of Nigeria. The entire nation is being forcibly Islamized and radicalized with $1 trillion in mineral wealth and oil money gushing to launch global jihad. This is a threat to the entire world.
You have seen that revelations. You can't get this information in the zoological recording media. You can't get it. A lot of evil is happening. And these are why Biafrans are preparing themselves to get out of the zoo by fire by force. But you go to their media, they are busy talking about irrelevant issues. Let's go to their media and see the report they have, as always.
There's a deeper agenda going on here, and
you know them.
You need to not only be paying attention.
You know what they are and what they're up to, and we will continue to follow them and expose all their lies.
Who is live in Ibadan. For the latest on the governor's intervention and the condition of those rescued, we're now joined by Arise Chief Correspondent Tokumbo Oyituji, who is live in Ibadan. Tokumbo, good morning and thank you for joining us. Well, what's the situation after the meeting of the rescued victims with the governor of your state? Any latest developments that should be of interest to our viewers?
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Abati, for joining us in Ibadan. Well, we can report that after that meeting with the governor yesterday, the rescued pupils and teachers were moved to another medical facility for closer observation of their status, and that will be on the bill of the state government as directed by Governor Sheyi Makinde, just like you heard in that report. So that process has started since yesterday, and it will continue for the next 24 hours because he directed that be carried out for the next 48 hours to examine how fit the people are before they can be reunited finally with their family members who are all waiting to actually catch a glimpse and hug them and welcome them back home. So for now, they are still at the medical facility going through the medical examination. But maybe another thing that we will need to bring to our audience is the broadcast by the governor yesterday, after he received the pupils and their teachers, where he called for a scrutiny of the exact thing that happened that led to the situation that led to the abduction, because according to him, it's so grave that it needs to be scrutinized beyond our domestic institutions. and he called on the international organizations that are human rights affiliated and even those affiliated to the United Nations to actually look into the issues so that to determine, whether there were whether there were institutional failure and other issues that could have led to that abduction, leading to those pupils and teachers spending not less than 56 days in the jungle. And like we reported yesterday, majority of them that were seen physically yesterday for the first time after their release are not looking well at all. They are still physically very weak. So the governor has called for an independent investigation into that matter to determine the roles played by different individuals and groups, and eventually serve justice, where it's necessary.
Thank you very much, Dr. Boladu. With regards to the unfortunate deaths of the other teachers, I know a number of things has been announced for provisions. Oh, okay, I think we don't have enough time. Well, very quickly, was anything announced for the family members of those who lost their loved ones in captivity?
No, not yet. Because like the governor said yesterday, there'll be more measures, more announcements to be made, not just as regards the welfare of the people that have been released, but because it specifically mentioned those who actually lost their lives. So we now know that 8 people, altogether were lost in that process. 3 teachers from those communities and 5 security personnel. I guess there'll be some more announcements later, to reach out to the families left behind by those lost in that process.
Well, thank you so very much for bringing us updates from Ibadan, Oyo State.
And it is important to know that there are a lot of lies in this. So much lies. Many things that they are telling you here are lies.
Welcome back to the Morning Show right on the Horizons channel. And with political realignment gathering pace ahead of the 2027 general elections, the ruling All Progressive Congress is projecting confidence about retaining its electoral dominance, particularly in the northern part of Nigeria. The party's national chairman expressed optimism that the APC will inherit estimated 12 million votes associated with former President Muhammadu Buhari's political base, even as President Tinubu is expected to retain the Muslim presidential ticket that secured victory in 2023. However, recent political developments have raised questions whether the support remains intact amid reports of growing discontent in parts of the north. Social Democratic Party presidential candidate Adewale Adebayo joins us to assess the political implication of the NPC strategy ahead of 2027. He will examine whether the Muslim ticket remains an electoral advantage and whether the party can realistically count on President Buhari's legacy and voting bloc, and how the shifting political alliances and voter sentiment in the north will shape the next presidential election. Great to have you, sir. So for the advocates of Muslim tickets...
Good morning.
Good to see you again, sir, and good to talk to you, sir. So for the advocates of Muslim tickets, do you think the advocates of Muslim ticket will support a Christian ticket, or an Isheshe ticket, or an Oshugo ticket, or an Ifa ticket, or an Ibe ticket, or an Agbasajuju ticket?
Well, let me say this. There is nothing like Muslim ticket. Even when the contraption was brought up 4 years ago, and I was in Kano, and I was asked the same question. I was then mingling with the ulamas, and I let them know that if you are hoping for a Muslim ticket, the President Tinubu and Vice President Shetima, you will be lucky to even have a single Muslim out of the two. And it turned out now that it's not a Muslim ticket. From the point of view of Muslims in Nigeria, it's a 0-0 ticket. Because in Islam,
what is expected in Islamic jurisprudence, what is expected of a leader is not the religion of that leader, is justice. The reason why Muslims get involved in politics is to have a just society. And there are guidelines in Islamic jurisprudence regarding politics. In Islam, it is expected that if you are a good Muslim, you will not give public office or responsibility to anyone who is not fit for that. So you look among yourself for the most suitable person, most competent person. Second, you don't give power based on favoritism or bias. And three, you don't give power based on expectation of reward. So the whole concept from the beginning was just to defraud the populace by using religious sentiment. What the North, what all Nigerians are looking for is a righteous leader, no matter that person's religion. Because the fruits of righteousness will make the people of that country to rejoice. So when you say you are a Muslim ticket, and there's no justice anywhere, even one of the proponents and advocates of Muslim ticket who was celebrating it, Nasir verified, is now, he and his family are now crying for justice. That is the biggest irony you can have. And nobody was more of a supporter of Muslim ticket celebrating it after the victory than verified. Now he can't get justice under his so-called Muslim ticket. So I don't think that Nigerians are interested in that at all. And the government is just flailing around. The APC is just looking for what to say. There is no support for a Muslim ticket anywhere. Two, even if people were looking for Muslims in authority, this president and the vice don't symbolize that. They symbolize the opposite. They actually want the Prophet and all the leaders of Islam warn Muslims against this kind of leadership, where there's no justice, where there's no truth, where there's no honesty, where there's no kindness, no charity. So I don't think that ship can come and rob the people one more time. It doesn't make any sense. Mr. Libayo, good to have you on the program. Well, you were once quoted as saying that there are too many abominations in the Tinubu administration. What are those abominations that you are talking about? Because that's a very strong word. And then if you can just draw attention to that one, and then you tell us what you mean by Adebayo is coming. Because you'll be campaigning that Adebayo is on his way. So, what are you bringing? What are you coming with? Those questions. Thank you. There are five abominations. There is a constitutional abomination, which is that the president looks at the constitution with contempt. Whatever the constitution says you do, he will not do. Whatever they say you should not do, he does. One, when it comes to the issue of following the law, Section 162 of the Constitution regarding financial account, regarding appropriation, regarding the sanctity of budgets. That's why in budgeting, if you want to deviate, you come back and do supplementary or you amend the appropriation. They don't do any of that. They don't follow appropriation. That's a serious abomination. Second abomination is the anti-democratic abomination, where you undermine the opposition, you squeeze the public space, you limit people's options, you pass and encourage terrible electoral act, which is just for your advantage. The third abomination is in the sector of justice. As head of state, you are not uniting the country, you are not just in your appointments, you are not just in your refinement, you are not just in your expenditure. So you neglect the people, you neglect most parts of the country, you create tension among populations, and that's the third abomination. The fourth abomination is the abomination of incompetence, where the governments are seen. They don't even know how many agencies they have. They are not able to control the functioning of government. And there are many things that you would not have seen before elsewhere, where a supposed head of an agency that is supposed to exist or not exist, is on TV on a daily basis, occupying government office, taking photographs with government people, putting money inside the budget, and doing all sorts of things. And at the end of the day, having a running battle, we haven't had that since we had Joseph Tucker and Godwin Dabo. We have not had this kind of scandal before. It's been a long time where you double me and Tucker you. And that's what we're having now, is running and running. And the final abomination is the inability of the president to give basic accountability. And all these people, what do they do? Just go around concocting figures, and nothing they say is correct anymore. For example, how can you say you have inherited 12 million Buhari voters when even the last election with Buhari in government, you could not scrape together 1.8 million votes, most of which were bought and stolen. So where do you get that said? Even in Buhari's second term, 2019, the election was not as clean. Buhari's 12 million votes disappeared because Buhari mightily disappointed the people. And in any case, where are the voters? And you, in your primary, you said you got 11 million voters, and now it turned out that they are all option A fraud, and that this number don't exist. Those are the abominations that the government is committing, and there are many more they are committing that the Nigerian public don't know. But I want to limit the abomination to those ones that are well proven. I don't have to scratch my head to look for them or to give evidence, because the evidence is in public domain. And as for Adibara's comment, I think it's a section of our followers, supporters from Kano who like to use that slogan. Our own slogan is farewell to poverty and insecurity. The one we are bringing is basically also 5.1. We want to secure the country by making sure that we recruit Nigerians to the armed forces and security agencies and ensure that lives, property can be safe, and that the kind of scenario you witnessed in the last 2 years where people are kidnapped for a long time, and we saw how Nigerians rejoiced with the government despite our differences when the armed forces went, law enforcement went and rescued children and teachers and community. That should be a routine thing that a DPO should be able to do on his own in our own kind of government. When you go anywhere in Nigeria to kidnap anybody, you know you won't last 48 hours to court. Second is to ensure that the economy works for the people. Clean budget that Nigerians can say this budget is put there by my representative based on the National Development Plan, based on something that I believe in, and I know what I'm expecting from this budget, and the budget is implemented to the T. Not like what they are doing now, where they have 3 budgets consolidated to one, and they're not implementing any of them. And they don't release the money, and the money disappears. The third thing we need to do is to make sure that we give employment to our people, that we reduce unemployment to lower single digits, well, we can do that in 18 months by making sure we implement the budget, we enforce the fundamental rights of Nigerians, and we look at the social and economic rights contained in Chapter 2 of the Constitution, and we budget accordingly.
Thus, this week marks its 40th anniversary. Founding editor Sonala Olumese has paid tribute to the pioneering news magazine, describing it as the foundation of a journalistic movement that inspired the creation of This Day, Arise News Channel, and the Leke Leke digital platform. In a commemorative reflection, Olumese said, "This week we defined Nigerian journalism through editorial independence, excellence, and a culture driven by the belief that we can do it, a philosophy championed by publisher Nduka Obaibena." He said the publication nurtured a generation of accomplished journalists and proved that young reporters, guided by integrity and professionalism, could build enduring media institutions. Oluwese also used the anniversary to call for the revival of grassroots journalism, warning that the decline of local and regional newspapers has weakened accountability despite growing public expenditure at state and local government levels. He said this week's enduring legacy lies not only in its history, but in its demonstration that courageous, independent journalism remains essential to strengthening Nigeria's democracy.
The Court of Appeal in Abuja has barred the Independent National Electoral Commission from recognizing congresses organized by the Senator David Mark-led caretaker leadership of the African Democratic Congress. In a split decision 2-1, 3-member panel of the Appellate Court affirmed the judgment of the Federal High Court in Abuja. In the lead judgment, Justice Okonabat said the court found no reason to set aside the restraining order issued against David Mark-led the ADC of April 29. The order stops INEC from recognizing or participating in state congresses organized by committees appointed by caretaker committee leadership.
All right, let's discuss the stories this morning. Starting off with the reports brought to us by Dokumo Yetunji, and just to double down on the importance of, yes, we're so glad that the Oyo State Governor, I beg your pardon, has demonstrated and announced some of the things that will be done for the family members, ensuring that the government will foot the bill for their complete medical and psychological evaluation to the extent that they're able to be fully ready to reunite with their family members and to the point of rehabilitation and reintegration into society based on the trauma that they faced in about 50 days in captivity. And some of the things, I saw the press conference held, and where Mrs. Alamu, the principal, was speaking about some of the ordeals of the children, where they were beaten for speaking out, doing the natural things that children of their age are wont to do, and the men themselves, how they suffered at a greater level and scale than the women. So that's very well within the responsibilities of the government. But beyond that, I just want to remind also that there should be a provision for family members who unfortunately would not be rejoicing at this point because their family did not return. So what provisions do we have for them? They also would require some form of psychosocial support. They also would require some form of compensation for the ordeal that they've had to face. And so I'm hoping that, I know he held a minute silence in honor of the dead, but beyond the minute silence, I hope that also there'll be attention on them in addition to those who have survived. We're really grateful. We'll continue to speak about the efforts and applaud the efforts of the military and the security agencies. This was a concerted effort, a combined operation, and it's great to see what can work and the possibilities that exist in this fight against terrorism. Finally, I want to highlight a point made by the National Orientation Agency that all hands must truly be on deck when it comes to the fight against insurgency and terrorism. And in saying this, it goes beyond just a show of support for security agents, but also for citizens themselves to play their role in providing information where possible, so that we all see ourselves as responsible and not just the government leads, but every single Nigeria takes a position and a role in ensuring that we're able to fight against terrorism. Say something, say something. That has been the mantra, and we hope that this will carry forward and that the security operatives themselves would engender the trust of the people by ensuring that those who actually say something are protected. Now let me just come to a very cheering news this morning. This week at 40, I have to say, 1986 was a very special year. But the piece written on a reflection by the founding editor of this week's newspaper is one to read. And the importance of history like this is because yesterday I was at the Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism. They had their media lecture 18th in honor of Professor Wole Soyinka. And in the room were young and budding journalists in university. And for a number of them, it was taking them back to the tenets of the profession, what journalism ought to be and how they, taking it forward, can ensure they keep the spirit of that. I mean, look at the picture of the young gentleman. Like Mr. Olumese described it, that it was never merely a magazine. It was an idea, a movement, and a declaration that excellence in Nigerian journalism was possible. These were the words that were echoed yesterday, and it's great to see that a magazine like This Week that started 40 years ago by a visionary indeed was able to tick those boxes against all odds. And the importance of this reflection is going to see how we can continue and to see what bold ideas, audacious ideas, big dreams, and that statement, we can do it. Impossible is nothing, can burst what we see today. I mean, look at the legacy of This Week. These day newspapers. Look at the legacy of Arise News channel. Look at the legacy of Leke and what is more to come. And I end by saying a very happy birthday to a man that I describe as a leader of leaders, an identifier of talents, and an investor in young and budding talents, Prince Nduka Obaigena, CON. Happy birthday and congratulations to you for your big, bold, audacious ideas and how it has been consistent through 40 years. Fine.
Okay. At first, while we congratulate the families of those that have returned from your ordeal, the Oriri ordeal, I'm very good peace about I'm saying about it today. As regards the Oriri ordeal, I'd like to ask, where's the body of the man that was beheaded? And where's also the body of the deacon that she said died in June, not killed in June? So where are those bodies? Have we gotten those bodies back? And can we have a befitting burial for them? That the state can lend some help as regards. And can we also set up scholarship scheme for their children, if it's not too hard to do, so that those people do not really die in vain? I remember that I think there were 3 of them, because the first burial we had was the man that was killed in the middle of all of this. When the day the kidnapping happened, the man was killed. So, and that burial has been done because I watched it on television, the reporter during burial. Secondly, we also like to ask that at this point in time, please, people should stop politicizing this, because we're not out of the woods yet. We commend them for their action. We are happy that there's so much heat. The Mr. Owuade, the principal that was also kidnapped yesterday, has been released today, because there's so much heat in the area. But we still have more to do as regards the Borno situation. The Askia and Lua, I think the Askia kids, they're still there. And we need to be able to get them back home too. About 36, 37 of them, the state government, all the authorities of the state are aware of this. They need to verify. So when are we going to be able to get those ones out? I think that's very important for us to know at this point in time. Then, thirdly, I think a lot of people are talking about the woman asking for her car. But the story about asking for her car was actually, they were actually kidnapped with the car, and the car was just conveying some of her to particular points before it was dropped off. And she saw that the car was touched afterwards. So that's why she was asking for the car. Then what are the measures put in place to ensure that this never happens again? They've already been dealt a traumatic blow. In fact, I was saying in one of our interviews that she's not sure she'll be able to go back to rural areas because it was a labor of love. So is there an extra incentive? Because we need education in rural areas. I mean, these are some of the points I just want to make this morning. But please, let's stop the politicization. They're back home, it's all right, it's fine. Let's not get at each other. There's a lot of work to be done as regards insecurity. As regards this week, for me, when you talk about this week, I think it's a celebration of a daring, lion-hearted man who comes and the hard people decided to take the hard road. I mean, I don't know how that man is wired. You know, prior to that time, I was reading somewhere, and he was doing some work for international newspapers like Newsweek and the likes. And he was making some cool bucks, doing those high-profile interviews for the likes of Newsweek and other foreign magazines. You know, he could have just continued that. Be an international stranger for them, get the stories, make his commission. But he decided to do the hard way. Most of the money he made over the years, he decided to stick it all. But again, will be that the argument and the debates. Is Nigeria of today and giving a 27-year-old such an opportunity? Because that's a dynamic 27-year-old that can bring in the doyen of corporate sector in Nigeria, the likes of Kamala Nonsense, the likes of Chipo Harima, and other big names, the likes of Chino and Jimmy, that is why I'm on the board, and bring them up and set up an idea and stake his all into it. I think I also read somewhere that it was not even printing locally, it was printing abroad. But until when you now had the economic challenges with the forex, that's when things started to seep into the business ecosystem. I mean, these are on uncanny level. And despite all of the challenges, he still went ahead and reinvented it. This day newspaper, and he keeps reinventing. So for me, as we're celebrating this week at 40, and as we're celebrating his birthday, it's the can-do spirit. And one thing I've learned about this country, it doesn't mean he doesn't make mistakes. But he goes and rejects it. But one thing I've also seen about Chairman, like before they call him, or the Duke of all nations, is the fact that he always sets his eyes on the big things. Chairman does not like the small, mediocre things. You see, when you say something is big, that's what he wants to do. He knows he might have challenges in getting it and getting there. Read the story of Arise. World-class station, set his sights high, was in America, had high offices, flying in the UK and everything. Because he doesn't just believe in the small stuff. And that's one thing. Pretty much reminds me of the saying that I think set your sights on the sky, on the stars, you can fall on the skies. And that's what he does. So it's that uncanny spirit of a 27-year-old that started career as a cartoonist on the Observer newspaper. And his cartoons column there was called Licky Licky. And he keeps reinventing it. Another thing is the way, maybe it comes from his creative streak. How his cartoon column in the Observer found life again in a social media company he set up about 45 years after. This week found life in a daily newspaper he set up many years after called This Thing. So that's the kind of streak and the can-do spirit. He's a human being, he's not perfect, nobody's perfect. But when you see a man that never takes no for an answer, that is dynamic, that when you think it's all over, he makes something happen. He's the man of injury time. Like they used to say Feggy time in when people used to work from Manchester. When you think it's quarter to that he's not going to surmount it, there's a way he has an uncanny grace, and it's a level of grace. And I beg people, don't copy Luka now. Not everybody has the level of grace. I just need to put that out there.
You see, we do not celebrate journalists or journalism enough in this country, and the people responsible for that issue are journalists themselves, who do not have a sense of their own importance or a proper understanding of the profession itself. And so it is just as well that today, July 14, we are celebrating the establishment of This Week news magazine, coinciding with the birthday of the founding chairman and editor-in-chief of that particular publication. At the time This Week magazine came on stream, there were already established news magazines in this environment. We had Newswatch, we had New Breed, we had African Concord, we had the African Guardian, which were, the leading papers, during that golden age of news magazine in Nigeria. And then This Week came on stream, established a small flat, Ogulano Drive, Surulere, Lagos. And it was made up of those young men. The chairman editor-in-chief himself, President Luka Obaibena, was just 27 years old. All the other people in the team who worked with him, they were very young people. Sunana Olumese, Losin Omokodion, Greg Obongo Chose, Larry Idungu, Uzomaze Uzoatu, Buruja, Zuka Tebose, Atikubi Azuru, joined them much later. These were very young men. They are now grandfathers. They are people knocking their 70s. Some of them, one or two of them, over 70. So they came together. And as Mr. Sunala Olumese has been protecting in this day newspaper this morning, the spirit then was, we can do it. There were young people who were not given the chance, but they were able to do it. Within a very short while, This Week was able to establish itself with the boldness of his journalism, with his capacity to break stories, to be first with the news, to connect with the grassroots. What Mr. Sunana Olume say again in his commentary this morning, referred to as grassroots journalism. I was taking the journalism from the rarified elite level to the level of the ordinary man and reporting the news as it happened, real time. So this week was quite, a surprise to the market. It changed the dynamics of the market in the same manner in which it laid the foundation for the emergence of this day newspaper, because when this day newspaper emerged, it was also filling in. In fact, one of the remarkable things about this week magazine was not just that it broke new grounds. It was also in terms of design ahead of the other papers. And I say that if you look at all the Obagbena creations, whether in Nigeria or elsewhere, because of his background in the creative arts, as a graphic artist himself, you see that the design, he can change the design of anything in less than 24 hours and it will look different, because that's his specialization, that's what he's done, that's his talent, that's the source of his creativity. And that's why it appears that it's always very inventive. He will try one design, he will try another one, and it will work, because when you have people who can apply their natural talents, you really cannot beat them. So you see that from this week to this day, there was one publication that came along the line after this week had disappeared. They are called the Empty Week, but they couldn't reinvent the idea. However, this week provided a nurturing ground for a number of journalists who have gone on ahead to distinguish themselves either in literature or still in mass communication. Some of them came from the Guardian at that time, but they are persons who made a lot of contribution to the growth of Nigerian journalism. Now, one thing people used to say about this week at that time was that it was produced in Nigeria, it was printed in London. I think it was Taiwo Obi who used to take the papers to London. He would leave Nigeria Friday evening. By Monday morning, he will be coming back with mint fresh edition of this week newspaper. That's the audacity that we talk about. But however, 1986 was also a period of economic crisis in Nigeria, when the Babangida administration, I think, adopted the structural adjustment program. Subsidies were removed, the foreign exchange market was tampered with, and then it became very difficult to maintain that quality for which this week was known in terms of its presentation. Because the principle in publishing is that, look, the material itself must be reader friendly, but in any case, that disappeared.
I ignore over our rights. Our land increases.
So, many get one and get up on the good.
Yeah, we don't see that you love Portugal. You got to appear. You
Our rights. Our Nandi Christians, the mega Oshiri Wuro and the Alakoma. Yaga do try. I never the ball I had a line Akadish. I had a head Bob would tell you what they might. If I was saying, we are making it for our home market where I care. I was. Can't Benanida move. They are not buying Akadish. Yaw getting. Go try to move man. Go try to truck and Akadi. Go try to truck a Nigeria. Nine had a very actual here. All you had to make. I go in. I had the bowler, no one had to hear with them, no one had to hear me. I am watching it. Can you bug out of one? I can win this ticket. I did what I to answer. Can you bug out of one again? But do bug again. I'm not with you. So, I'll talk about now. Yeah, I know how the last show. My business man, put my husband hugging me. I will, yes, I will, quickly that. How the last show. I'm trying to say here. What will you? When you're not going to put it into your say, well, I've got the Muslim ticket. You said they will be well. And when they are, yeah, I want to buy it. Can you have it? Okay. I will go back at it. Although that's the one to put on and say, what time she didn't make her, or they buy them found. He said they will be well. How about the way he get there? I think don't do it. I'm the way he get there. So I couldn't find out, at all. Because he like that to good. And we're going to do that person. Oh, they came on. But that's the number of people going to be good. Why would that shit? Because of Hannah and the other party. They were there. So, come on, they come with them with that. How you would move them now?
But it's the Kuna Yabu, Lenyana, Donald Trump, who let him Basra, Babu, Anna, who did Christ. Alanya Nigeria, the Muslim Kulu, Eka, Bolame, the Tibu Gradi, who are Pashima, the Kuriki, Allah about Maka, Opposition, and that force, or the Kikayabu, Donald Trump, Garantia, and Yedi, and Kadika, they look.
All of them can go and work with them.
Donald Trump,
I am not joking. You know, Latin Thompson's never over 150 billion in America. It may not cast it. I will know about you. Get where you have the presidents have another small watch. Eh? a na-ebido na ọgwụ onyeisi ala ga-abụga so Donald Trump ebe ụlọ zero ihe isi bụ ọ na-eti ihe aka nwoke ebe ọ ga-egide enweghị ndị kọntri Donald Trump bara ihe isi bụ ọwụ ebe ọ ga-egide ihe ga-abara Amerịka so ya nweta anya ahụ na-achọ ya bụga ga na Naijiria enwetara ọwụ ndị kọmishọn ndị terọrist ebuzi ala Amerịka na-ga-emebi anya ọwụ na Naijiria bara ya ha na-eleta ndị amata otu na otu ha ji nweta agị maka ha na-eme mana Amerịka abụleba bịa Korea ọ dị infọmeshọn Korea bụ n'ala ha na-aka na-eleti ya na-apụkarị ya na-abara ya na-eme ebe ndị ụzọ Amerịka ji ọwụ ka ha dịcha because that's information is power enweta information na ewurizi ya na-arụ ọrụ ya dịka ahụ Chineke mba ọ bụ Chineke Ichebe aha bịa na Naijiria bịa kwụkwọ ndị ala a ga-asọ
Barịsaka ilenye anya enwetara nnọọ ezigbote akụkọ mara mma na mgbuchi izuụka gara aga ka o si metụta ụmụ akwụkwọ na ndị nkuzi a tọrọ na steeti Ọyọ. Na mbụ Bayo Nano gara dee na ahụ hapụrụ ha galagudedela ahụ na azọpụtara ha anyamazi nke anyị na-ewi mana akụkọ anyị nwetara n'akwụkwọ akụkọ Vanguard n'ụtụtụ a na-ekwu na ndị agha na ndị DSS si na kamgbe izuụka ole ugbu a anọ nnọọ agada ya bụ intelligence report na ikpeazụ na ha chọpụtara ezinụlọ ndị ntọ a ebe ha nọ na ha gara aga nwụchie ndị ezinụlọ ndị ntọ a bụkwa ndị nke gụnyere ndị nwunye ha na ụmụaka ha na mgbe ndị ntọ chọpụtaziri a gwara ha si ekwe anyị ejichere ndị nwunye unu na ụmụaka unu ndị tọsisie ngwa tọhapụnị ndị nwunye anyị na ụmụaka anyị ka anyị tọhapụ ụmụ akwụkwọ na ndị nkụzi ha eji eji n'ikpeazụ ndị agha na DSS ka ha nwụchiri ya bụ ebe dịka ha nwetachara ozi ma zọpụta ndị ya gbarịsọ dị dịka akụkọ a edochaga anya maka ụmụafọ ala anyị ọtụtụ n'ime ha na-agwọ ike etiti ka ha gwa anyị ka esi zọpụta ndị a unu kwụrụ ụgwọ atọhapụ ndị a ka ọ bụ na-akwụkwọ ụgwọ na ọ bụ ndị agha na ndị DSS nwụchiri ma zọpụta ndị a gbarịsọ dị gị ka ụmụafọ ala anyị kwesịrị ịma ka esiri zọpụta ndị nkụzi ndị a nakwa ụmụ akwụkwọ.
Adị Igbo ọ na-adị mma okenye gị tụghachi ya atụghachi ụmụaka na-agaghị achọpụta adịzie elu ịghọtago achị a ha na-atụ maka ndị anyị na-elezi n'Ọyọ steeti ọwachi ụmụaka na-atụ eziokwu in the first place n'otu ndị agha dị ma ha bụ ụmụaka ha dị ka ndị tara ahụ otu ha jiri efe ha ji dị ụcha from all the comments they say no ụmụaka gwebe eziokwu ha dị ka ndị tara ahụ n'ime ọhịa ụmụaka bụrụ ndị tara ahụ n'ime ọhịa ibi ha gaghị anọrọdụ taa laịlaị enweghị ike nọrọdụ taa ọ dịghị apọsịbụl so ya wụ nọmba 1 na chi atụ nke ọzọ bụ ihe a ha na-akpọ na ejichiri ndị ha ejiche ndị so ndị ka ọzọ ejikwere in other parts of Nigeria ụna amaghị family ndị ji ha na unu bụ ndị ọzọ a na-atọghachi ndị ọzọ eji eji ka mara unu na-ekwu eziokwu ọ bụghị unu were otu a na-eji ịchọrọ ịta na ndị terrorist dejiri isi niile ahụ ndị for 56 days for nothing adịgbara to ha so for nothing ọụta ka ha tụwara akọwa atụta asị emecha dịba ma ndị nta akụkọ Naijiria chọpụtara ndị nta akụkọ ofesi agwa nke gbawazi so ka anyị were ndị a chukwu eme na-eme na ụmụaka bụ ibido otu mana awụta ka ọ ga-ebu ndị a dịte na enweghị ike ike ha isi aka n'okwu enweghị ga-ekwu ya ọ ya bụ isiokwu etopụrụ ndị aka n'obi maka ihe mere ha mana enweghị ga-ekwu okwu ike ya dị chiọna na ha pụtara Makinde na Chukwu ha adọchala politiks ndị ụmụaka ọkwa ka ha gaala because ama na aga abịa kampen na Ọyọ steeti yes abalakwu after yes ọ ga-agwa gị agwa amasị nwa ichibere n'abalị n'otu ọtụtụ nwatakịrị akwụkwọ
Exactly.
And I have to name and hand this state in Aloko.
Exactly. Kemgbe is not get to back in the book. Adalanti, or anybody be an apple. As you get to move back at the politics. And the back in that man yes, the back not to look at surrender. Because back at that campaign or your state. That one the woman are going to be all completely again. I'm going to get. I am never on top. Go and listen to my show on Thursday. Every time I on Thursday, you find the go and listen to that show. So, yeah, I go.
And I think I'll ask them to come here. She has
very good.
I
get in there. I see PCPC,
can't have asked that people should have a can't position now. Everybody teaching over the night. I got like a bank of motors.
After the night, I if nobody care or not to check or was he thought Jenna is up for
no, back in the week by APs.
Awesome.
Like we try.
I'm going to come.
I will ask a work at night because so we are to do where I also every party is the back. There were so many things in the wrong, especially the traditional Ekpa and all that, all the problem. And the Chukwuka Choka, market the media. And market that I got to buy the Katuka or your city, they are wagging. So, all we get it.
But Sakayanya, Yabe came on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, Napoli, Sana Corona, Dave Mark is never Mazi Nnamdi because of that Hangway debate, not a talker. Basara Gonola put up with you in home governor. It will be able governor, Stacy Hanabra. Yaputa will even. We have a governor of the state table, Yaputa, a Hangway debate. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Never but he had it in a World Cup na you. Now World Cup will be highest. Let's say you won the World Cup, the other buy you. Now you want to buy can buy you, you want to World Cup. Everybody goes see Toy and Gaini Aban or they let you bet to Basara World Cup. You know the World Cup. Yes, yeah. I will be presidential candidate. 80 as one when you see a lot for us. Who might? And what the party of India as when you see it. Gawe take on ticket. They na so kwa nisi ya. Kuna kaputazi ya debate. Ingota go obro to papa. Obuke no na low level in about division 1. They level 1 on a Champions League. Come na give away debate. Nka adaba ga. Obi yema si Peter Israel dey. That's why ya kaputazi ya sia. Peter bi ayi sara. Mbaka papa no dey na. Ababola na Tinubu ahia na ballot. Oputakwara na mu wa dey fu mai. Ah na ballot. But it's a very serious
because when I'm going back that's a go protein go protein go protein ya wo keni la ko ya awo wa fi go protein na ba apuga ya de fu ma na ko akoko the way you should in fact Peter be ya that all the barrier head but that no tell go money now because Tinubu na ballot they want na ballot can you imagine I wouldn't know by you.
But it's like that.
I wouldn't know by you. Because get the governor of Nigeria. And when the governor, that is very what I hate to be in another. Because what it is you. How we have to be in another parameter we are the whole world. Can you just imagine? Don't know what they will buy and they will put the money short. Give it for you have to make that man today. All will give you and number. Go to teach number. All will give you also. The one that people will be the ghetto. But that's what I'm saying. Everyone don't need the ghetto. So, because you have to be inside, you go to the mouth for. But I have to manage to keep here. What can it be? I walk back not go. Now, begin a bit of being on what ground? On what ground?
That is that. He had to see Gandasi person and not the bad way to do. If they want to have a side of us, we want to go to the level of the super way to do. I do it. Oh,
but it's not a kind of much.
What is that? Oh, you okay? That's now. You might hear what I want to combine. So I mean, I have it.
Because for every comparison, I will keep a bar on that to compare this. You got that. What depends on the but I hear they will buy you or not.
But it's the PC that it's I believe you to I like you Tara. On Friday because Saturday now. But you're gonna get the gap and the gas or quality sheets and stay together. How much here? Captain and I had chicken. And I'll put the opposition party. I think, yeah, I took a particular have wish. The hand that it is in a honey the lab. Then he also cannot chop them. Not ABC chicken and a hatch to put you for faith.
I'm going there. But I'm going to see that better have taco. Where you see now, where you see the TV has to go over, but I won't hear it. Now they play one local position. I'm going to win. But I'm going to see that I got it. Now, party. On I won't hear it. On I won't hear. Do so good in that opposition. One way PC here. No, one way PC here. Well, I never play opposition. Can you back? So no question about the politics. I mean, one and the APC here. Because you never play when you play now. Then we have another year. Oh, yeah, your APC. APC will have 1 minute of ego. Oh, yeah, people again. I think about I'm going to particularly here. Getting in a going on. You have to how. How about that?
But it's several Nilaya or Chichino was Nahana Bambo, Emuna, Rumaka, out of school children. No, they have and I did not see what to see. One case in a ministry of Makakuma upon a line. The Yago agent, they were yet. Level of like SSCE. Level player worth 50,000. Up to 27,500 agent registered name. Why yet? SSCE. Yago ministry of Makakuma upon a line. And I have over for Hungary. Now, but you get to do one match. Afwa. Kahano way up baby. Now, why they get to register why I got teaching. Okay, that was teaching. Okay, SSC and teaching. Now, actually, may have upload uniform. Open the half of our the standard for 2027. Oh, my upon a line in Nigeria. The register see my way, they go to SSC 50,000. Go to Pakistan. Yaku had it naturally done at one of the phone Apple. Either we can didn't have a woman hang on to get order. Now, what we have, look at you, who register 1 year, SSC.
And so, that agent. I'm going to comment that on that comment that agent. Never that kind of thing, never that kind of thing. I will go to the if I never have something in the man, they listen at this at one.
And then the next about war,
yes, as for that is both the Wayek and the every family is the man and no, they from the same family, and then they will get Akashi. So, cannot have a job that 200,000 they register, for example. Meanwhile, has not helped the latter of the Nana no Lago. I mean, again, how about how many figures? Have a latter with 12 million or with 15 million. The last time we checked, I will have 20 million. So, cannot go to the latter. The one that will have so, because the latter, all you will have to say, they register. I'm going to have so that the Kaja will do the cover. Because with the GIA now, many people are registered as Abibu, that's the house of ours. So, yeah, it's in the image. I'm going to comment that the judge. I'm going to so, anyway, open to put on a human rights organization, how do they look for? Help with an organization. Because I won't get need for that. Can you hear a call here? Every year, free give them. Every year, free give them. Every year, free give them all your natural. Every year, they have this. What do you cover here and did that they go here? You can have to say to the have to see out.
That is the ADCs in Ichishaka and Ichishaka to Kaduna State. Nasu Aero 5, Ichi were Pakistan to Hamana. I want Aero 5.
This is from Biafra's Got Talent. We are letting Biafrans know the reason why we should remember those who gave their lives for us, those who died, that we may live.
You died to end my suffering. You died fighting for my freedom. Your blood is the seed of redemption. You are my inspiration.
The deed no longer them, military shots at them. 67 to 70, we remember them. 2016, 38 May, memory still lives in our mind till today. Wonder why they refuse to publicize the genocide. The world media turn blind eyes to our plight. It's time to arise, land of the rising sun. Let's rise one more time, let's rise.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Ipocha massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright. Tell them I touched me. Remember when me tell you say I touched me. Yeah, I remember that one that called myself Bruce Mero. Like a papa nuku, but them they were boniro. Me tell you what I look pandi, what pandi samiro. Me tell you what I day. For me the fall and the rest of man I tell you what I am. Me never give up. Me tell them
I want to promise you something today. We must fight together, no retreat and no surrender. We must hold them down till the end of time. The most important thing is that we will restore Biafra.
I look up to the sky with tears in my eye. For other Biafrans and for freedom had to die. We will never forget you as the days go by. You are always in my heart, you'll never be apart. They fought for our freedom, they died for our freedom. They fought the Nigerian soldiers in the war front, without food, without guns, for our freedom, for our life, for our own good, for our children. We love them, our heroes, we want them.
My heart bleeds when I saw them slain. Where will I be now if not then? They will remain indelible in my heart forever, 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 and ever, and ever, and ever.
We serve in your plantation, and the way you paid us back with your bloody starvation. We play in our history that the death of my people is a mystery. No going back to get to a victory. I had a voice now call for vengeance. I never get bombed, I'ma blow like a vengeance. Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Ipocha massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Where will I be now? If not you, you died at Mali.
They were starved to death because of our freedom, and they paid the debt for our freedom. Flag high for those that died in the genocide, fighting for you and I. There is pain in the heart, we bleeding inside, tears in the eyes, so I'm falling here.
This is for my fallen heroes. Give them motivation, people. It's like I'm looking at myself in the mirror. Cause to be a cast, I need to be a nurse. If we did not retire,
They paid the ultimate price. They died for the freedom of my unborn child. We live for the legacy. Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes.
represent